right. Welcome to the Rich Celenza Show. This fucking stalker over here. I'm calling him a stalker. I'm at his office. All right, I got Robert Benenati, this sidekick, co-host, whatever the hell he is at this point. What's going on, dog?
Busy.
Yeah.
So I'm jumping between this desk and my desk.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here drinking water.
No. Let's make it happen. Come on.
So
what do we got?
Yeah, we were having lunch earlier in this. Robert's kind of was describing how he's kind of evolved in the last year regarding his thoughts on content. When I don't know if you know this, he has his own podcast, Real Business. He has his own YouTube channel. And, at the beginning, I think he had a lot of different ideas. And I think a lot of people go through this regarding when getting ready to start a YouTube or a podcast or whatever. They think it's going to kind of go one way. They're going to maybe production value, maybe looking or spending this amount of time and money on. Same with the podcast. But as time goes on, you evolve and you change. And a lot of people even quit, let's say, for instance. But what I want to get in with him today is kind of like what he's gone through, because I know what I go through, and I probably will name this podcast, actually, Content is Everything to Me. After making films, doing short films and everything, I'm really more content-driven, not caught up in production value. That exhausted me. Him, on the other end, I definitely think, which is great, if you watch any of his videos or listen to his podcast, he loves the production side of it, right? A high level?
Yeah, but I'm leaning towards you now.
Because you like the freedom.
And this is where we're getting into the content part of it.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so one of the top reasons that a lot of YouTubers quit, right? There was a number like 7,000 people per day or something like that are getting into the YouTube, and then about 90% of them just after a couple of weeks they're gone, right? I don't know the exact numbers, but it was something like that if I remember. And it's because, the production side, it's great to create. It's easy to create. Like right now, sit down and just create the content, talk about it. But imagine doing that and then doing the video and putting it together and then uploading everything. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's costly, too. Yes. It may not even cost out of your pocket, but time out of your money. Yeah. I mean, time out of your day is costly, because if you're not working, right? Let's call it for what it is. It's on both ends.
So, like you said, I'm in the real estate part. I started a podcast, and I know the importance of content. I think for any platform, content is number one, right?
Yeah.
Secondly is, believe it or not, consistency.
It's the key.
That's the second part.
Yeah.
Right? And then we get into maybe production, how good it looks and how good it sounds. Before the look, I think the sound is very important, because if people can't understand or listen to what you're saying, there's no...
Yeah, I went through that with my films.
Yeah.
The audio was not the level I wanted. That was a whole nother animal.
And then production at the end, the way it looks and color and all that, right?
Right.
For myself, being in so many, having my hands in different pots, it's tough, right? It's exciting. I could deal with it, but it gets to the point, honestly, where it could get exhausting, especially trying to create the content.
Right.
And that's where it gets tricky. What's the next thing I'm going to talk about, or what's the next thing I'm going to show if it's on a YouTube?
Well, you're a real estate broker too. You've kind of, I'm not saying boxed yourself in, where if you look at me, I'm so all over the place.
You're pretty open and free on that. You could talk about pretty much anything. I have two topics. One is real estate on one end, and then Real Business Podcast. It's more about business failures, successes, marketing, that type of thing, which is a little more, I guess, open than real estate, right? But still, it's two very specific sectors, right?
Sure.
But it's gotten to the point where I just want to simplify it.
Yeah, I minimize it.
Yeah.
And be fun.
So I was doing my podcast,
Yeah.
Right? Or I'm doing my podcast, but I'm also doing the video.
Yeah.
Right? So what happens with that? I put the video and audio on YouTube and just the audio on the podcast platform. So now I'm doing 2 jobs.
Yep.
Right. If I were just to do a podcast,
Yeah.
I could do it from anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It only takes a mic, a cable, and a PC.
Yep.
And I can record, whatever, 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's uploaded and done.
Yes.
Right. With the YouTube, it just takes a lot more production.
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm more production driven, that if it doesn't look right, I get frustrated, or I just, not that I quit, but then that whole content doesn't go up and doesn't get uploaded, or, so it could get tiresome and frustrating. So I would tell anyone, well, first of all, now, talking to your public here, to your audience, I would like for them to actually comment.
Yeah.
And let you know, what part of the business, if they have a type of business that they have to create content, what has been their struggle.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to know.
I think a lot of people run out of juice.
I don't know if it's running out of juice, running out of ideas, running out of time.
That's what I mean. They run out of ideas, a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because you can only, say, for instance, you started off a real estate channel. How much are you going to talk about real estate before it gets boring? And
to yourself, even boring to yourself.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, you burn out.
No.
Because not only are you running a company for real estate, now you got to talk about it all day. Mm-hmm. That's how I kind of look at it.
I could have gone that route. I just decided not to create a podcast channel or podcast based on real estate. I just didn't want to repeat myself
for sure
twice. And I was like, no, if I am going to do something on podcasts, it's going to be a little different. Why business? Because I've been in business a long time, and experience, the knowledge, the failures, the success, the people I'm surrounded with that are also business people, and I've learned from them. So I had somewhat what to share, right? That's why I didn't get into, nutrition or fitness or something I don't know much about. So
I think I said this when I first met you. I didn't even plan on having a YouTube channel. I always wanted to do a podcast to a certain degree, or just do a radio station. My engineer at the time, Omar, he's the one who convinced me to kind of do both. He set them both up for me. But at the beginning, very similar to you, I was caught up in, I didn't want to wear headphones. I didn't want to I didn't want to look a certain way. I wanted audio without the headphones. I had all these issues. I didn't know what subjects I wanted to do, and I was just traveling, and I was shooting myself. I deleted everything at the beginning. I couldn't believe, I looked old, I'm bald. I'm like, who the hell wants to look at me doing this shit? But I just kept doing it, because after a while, I was just, for the first time, I wasn't writing a book, a screenplay, creating a program. It was something fun for me to do on a plane besides read or write. So I started editing my own videos.
Yeah, but yours were very raw, meaning you're doing it on a phone, on the spot.
Yeah.
So there was not a lot of production. It was a little shaky, but...
That was later.
But you were just,
I was originally, believe it or not, doing them in an office or doing them in a hotel. And like I said, I was dressed up. I was talking about confidence at the beginning and wardrobe and hygiene. And I looked at myself, too, and said, one, I'm never in an office. I don't want to be stuck in a hotel, even if it's a nice hotel room. I also shot a bunch of videos for this other program, and I just said, I'm just going to show it exactly the way I'm living it, or exactly the way it is, and I'm just going to do it, and I don't care. Because that's something I can maintain and sustain. That's how I looked at it.
Because that was easy. That was the norm for you.
Exactly. And when you're traveling in all these different cities, and I'm showing all these... different.
It sounds more like a vlog than a podcast, actually.
It is. It was just me. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a cross between podcast and vlog.
Yeah, it's just me. I just said, you know what? I'm going to just get over this and just keep doing it. The more I did it, the rougher I got. Before you know it, I'm not in dress clothes all the time, because at the beginning I was kind of wearing dress clothes. I was going to Italian restaurants. I started doing gym tours, and then people at the gym either loved me or hated me. Then I just, like when I met you, I was just literally walking in with a camera, talking about fitness at that point in time, not caring about the audio and the backdrop. People, I'd walk right past them. I don't care if I was in a mall. I just said, fuck it. I'm just going to record it. If I like it, I keep it. The more I did that, the funner it became, the more I did, and the more people started to respond to it.
You were just being you. Yeah.
That was it. Right. I'm not saying I was portraying anybody else but it was like, oh, I can only be seen in a suit and tie if I got this program.
That's the secret, I believe. Just being yourself, just being who you are and showing that. We're gonna call that the mix. We got blog, we got vlog, and now we got plog. It's a podcast.
It's a funny thing. It's true, and I kept in because COVID hit. Talk about going full throttle. I was able to do other things, like Zoom came along, and I just kept kind of. I changed my identity actually a lot, and I don't think
you were doing like 2 or 3 a day, I believe.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of those, but people went from only knowing me kind of a suit and tie travel guy, right? Now I'm at home in a pool or by the lake or in a gym guy. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a total. In the way I dressed, I went from dress clothes to something so casual. Like when I would be doing podcasts before I'd even start to like, Rich, I thought you were going to be in a suit or a tie or you were going to be in an office. I'm like,
a V-neck and a
they're like,
shorts.
Where are you? I'm like, I'm at a park bench next to a lake. Where are you at? Or I'm on the side of the road having a coffee. So anyways, I think Robert kind of went through, when you see somebody from the outside going through it, like what I went through.
One thing I would recommend, and I think I learned that while doing this with you, was what I suggest is for someone that's trying to get into this or is in this content creating idea, doesn't matter the platform, is kind of shadow someone that's doing it.
Really?
Yeah. I think, if I would have done that early on, I would have probably gained traction sooner and simplified the whole thing instead of trial and error, right? And seeing, okay, this is what this person does, He's got if you're an influencer, it takes a lot to, take pictures of yourself, selfies, and create it and do the stories and do this and do that just for a 15 or 30-second video. Yeah. Right? It takes you an hour to do a 15-second video. Yeah. Right? So if that's what you're looking to do, shadow someone for a day and see how they do it. Yeah. Same thing if they create YouTube. They have a YouTube channel. Sure. Talk to them, meet with them,
for sure,
and see how they record, and then how they edit. Figure out how long it takes them, and then picture yourself doing that, and see if that's going to make you happy. You think it's going to make you happy, right? Because the creative side is what I think makes everyone happy. Because basically it's their voice.
For sure,
it's their art. Yeah. It's the work that it entails when you're trying to put it all together.
Yeah, and it's easy to critique. It's not always easy to create, I always say, right? Because you may have looked at my podcast at the beginning or my videos and be like, God, I wish I wouldn't do it this way. Right. I'll be high level, I'll be dressed this way.
Go do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, okay, you have to also look at, one is having fun, I talk about, but how much are you going to put into this? People think doing something in their mind, it only may take an hour or two. Before you know it, it's 8 hours. What you think may take a day takes a week. Mm-hmm. Right? So me being in the film, making films, I know how long things take when you have to set certain things up, do it a certain way, get somebody professional to shoot it, get somebody to
lighting,
edit it,
sound, computers,
backdrop audio. What is it? Windy? Is it too sunny? Is it this? Is it that? There's all these things. I had to throw it out and say, I don't care about any of this anymore. The rawer it is for me, the better it was. The more I enjoyed it, the more... And also from an editing perspective, people don't realize how much time it's going to take unless you're a professional editor. Even if you're younger and you like editing, sure, if you have nothing but time. But if you got a job and you got a family and you got other shit going on, I can assure you starting a YouTube channel is fun. Don't get me wrong, especially at the beginning because you have all these ideas and you're starting the page. Again, if you want to build a following, you have to be consistent. And that's where most people, I think, fail. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm a lunatic. When I start something, I won't end it till I feel like it's over. Right. So, but next week I may be like, Robert, I'm out on YouTube, on podcast. Who knows with me? Then next I'll be like, I'm out on both of these. Let's do this. I'm a weirdo like that.
And the thing is nowadays there's so much competition. It's flooded that, for example, to monetize on YouTube, it's so difficult. You know, because you need 4,000 hours viewed. Mm-hmm. And 1,000 subscribers. Right. That's a lot of content.
Takes time.
You create a video, a 10-minute video. How many people have to watch that video to reach 4,000 hours? That's 240,000 minutes.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you could, let's say you create one and it goes viral and it's seen.
Right.
Great. Now you need 1,000 subscribers.
Right. I've never
before
looked
you
at,
monetize.
Yeah, I never created this for money. This was a hobby. If I think a lot of people are going at it, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, for just money, which could be good.
Right. What I was trying to get to with this is that they don't realize that it's going to take
a substantial amount of time. Sure.
Right? They come in and they think that I'm just going to shoot it. It's going to go viral. I'm going to hit. And then they realize, oh, I only got 300 views, 200 views. And, one subscriber a week, and then they start realizing, wait a minute, this is not as easy as, and then that sets false expectations. You get frustrated and you don't see the immediate gratification. That's what everyone...
No.
So first you have to do this just to create the content. Just put it out. Just pour it.
Just enjoy yourself.
Enjoy, have a good time, learn from it, develop yourself, evolve into a better podcaster or a better vlogger or, whatever it is you're doing, and have fun and learn while you're doing it, creating content, and time will actually help you. But if you're trying to do it right away, it's you started off on the wrong foot from the get.
If people like you, they're going to like you. Don't be surprised if they don't.
No, yeah. Well,
most people aren't going to like you. If you can get not even 1%, a piece of a percent, it's amazing. I do think now with YouTube or podcasts or whatever, everybody's like, oh, it's a flooded market. It reminded me when I was making a film, they're like, now, that was in the late 1990s and then early 2000s. Like, oh my God, now everybody's going to be making film because there's all these different type of cameras. You can edit at home. You can edit on your Mac, all these different type of things. And I'm like, well, if you're a good filmmaker, people are going to like your work, right? I'm just saying, if they don't, they don't. But now it seems like with television and all these issues now with networks and cancel culture and people not wanting, trusting networks, all these different issues, the movie industry kind of being whacked because of COVID. Now I think is a great time to kind of start your own YouTube or podcast.
Listen, YouTube has 2 billion logged in monthly users.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of people watching. Right, and from just the United States alone, 73% of people that live in the States watch YouTube.
Yeah.
So you could get a lot of viewers, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to be patient. Going back to growing, you have to be patient because there's so much also out there for these viewers. So they go in and everything is so fast now, and attention is down to seconds.
Yeah.
If you don't catch somebody's attention within the first 2-3 seconds,
they
move on to the next channel or the next video. So it's just time. You got to put in the time on YouTube.
Figure out why you're doing it too. Why you're really doing this, right? And kind of balance your life. Don't think you got to put up a video every day. Don't think you got to put up one a week. Maybe you're just a once a month guy. Huh? Who knows, right? There's guys that have millions of followers, one a month. Then there's guys like myself that if they have the time, they'll put one up a week or one up a day. I'm sorry. You may be once every other week, Robert, right? Mm-hmm. Just make sure you kind of get a balance and I would say, and be genuine and kind of figure things out and pivot. Because sometimes I think people are caught up with trying to put up too much content. Then they get lazy. They don't put up enough content or they just kind of don't evolve too. Because I think a lot of people change like you did from the beginning and then they don't know what to do. They're kind of boxed in, I guess, to a certain degree, or they didn't get the results they expected, and they quit, or they get frustrated.
I think the part is, majority of the part, I think I would say, is the monetization part. They need, or they want to do this full time, get paid for it, and then they realize I can't get paid until I reach X amount of numbers, and that's going to be a year from now. I cannot do this for a year and not get paid.
Yep.
Well, then do it. Right, exclude the getting paid part of this, and work your regular job and do this at night. Yeah. Give it an hour a day or whatever it is, right? And just create it little by little. It's like a savings account, right? You just put a little bit every day.
Little deposits.
Yeah, and then at the end of the year, you realize, okay, this is where I'm at. Now I can. But if you're looking to grow within a month or 2 months, then it's not going to happen. Unfortunately,
most likely, unless you're famous or something. You already have a huge following, right?
Or you're in a category that is really, really interesting to certain people. Like the number one, or one of the top videos is, I think it's like reviews.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
DIYs.
Okay.
How-tos, right?
Yeah, sure.
Haunted, like scary stuff, like haunted homes and whatnot. But is that something you like to do?
Right. Yeah.
Right? And then are you creating, and these people are creating this just for the viewership, not because, A, they like it or because that's what they want to do. But mostly just to get monetized.
Yeah.
And create. And what they're doing is actually creating a business with YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, if that works.
But
know,
if
it's
you
like a production, anything else.
If you like talking about how to make coffee every morning and you know, drip coffee or doing you have to understand you have a limited amount of viewership on this.
Yeah.
It's got to be great content, right? Great production. And you might only have 2,000 subscribers at the end of it.
Yep.
Enough to get monetized, but it's going to take longer time.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And also don't go broke creating videos to a certain point. Just saying, I mean, I did that with films. How much money are you spending? You know, it's even if you want to be a food critic or somebody.
Unless you're editing for yourself. But if you have to pay someone to edit.
Well, I'm saying even going out, say you want to be a food critic and you want to go to every different restaurant locally, you're going to all these restaurants making videos, you're spending a lot of money. It could be doing anything, traveling, whatever. A lot of people think I'm going to start a travel channel.
Don't do it for the YouTube.
Yeah, if you're
do it because you're doing, like you were traveling and, well, let me just put it on.
Yeah, and it wasn't to be a show-off. This is just my favorite spots. But a lot of people may go broke spending money on creating videos because you don't realize if you're doing one a week or whatever the case may be, even if you're hiring people to help you, all these things, before you know at the end of the year, you didn't get what you wanted out of it as far as maybe exposure.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I blew $20,000.
Like fashion influencers, they go out shopping.
Exactly.
For clothing to put it on to, eventually they get sent.
Of course.
You know, clothing, but it's going to take you some time.
Of course.
Or if you're reviewing tech stuff, right? Now you're going out buying cameras, buying this, buying that just to review it. And that doesn't make
I would definitely stay genuine. That's the one thing I would say to yourself. I don't care if you want to call it your own brand. Make sure, because when a lot of people go off base, you could just tell it's phony, it's fake. If you're a gamer, you want to do videos about gaming, do it. Whatever, right?
My last opinion here is create content, genuine content, good content, and start there. And I think you're going to get the true followings from that.
I do too, for sure. All right, let's wrap it up there. If you want to check out Robert's podcast, that's Real Business. His YouTube is just your name, right?
Robert Benenati, yeah. I have the other channel, which is 365 Realty, but it's more for the company.
Yeah.
So I just started Robert Benenati as a, Orlando real estate broker.
Yeah, that's cool. And my YouTube channel is just my name, and I'm all over the place. But you can just go richcelenza.com. You can see me all over the place. All right, take care, everyone.